Alright guys, so I was messing with my Wago for a bit yesterday and I did get it to run right. All it was my two outer injector plugs were flipped backwards, and I'm not sure really how they were like that because I had them all set like the same polarity, but for some reason these injectors are weird. I'm not sure why they're like that. It happened on my hatch too when I had them, but those two outer ones were flipped around, so the first and last cylinder weren't even getting fuel whatsoever, and it was literally just running on these two middle cylinders, and that's why it sounded like shit. And right when I flipped those around, it started up and idled just fine. So what I'm fixing to do right now is I'm getting a couple bolts that I'm missing, like for the valve cover. Got to get those because oil flings out of there. And once I get those in there, I'm going to try to put some coolant in it. I was a little confused with the coolant lines because this manifold on the Z6 has an extra port that you can't see, but it's underneath the intake right here. And so with that extra port, from what I can tell, there's no use for this port right there. So I just have it kind of blocked off, and I'm gonna put coolant in there and see if it leaks. And I'm gonna try to get it to PFI and then kind of have Brent look over all the coolant lines because he'll know how it should go. But I think I have it hooked up right. I just have no idea where that line needs to go. I might be able just to plug that off. And also my brake booster is pretty ghetto. It's just a plastic fitting that's just resting in there, so hopefully that doesn't pop out while I'm driving. But other than that, it should be good. And yeah, for right now I'm just going to try to put some coolant in it and make sure it doesn't leak and start it up and let it warm up for the first time. So we didn't have coolant like I thought we did, so I just put water in there. Just going to check for leaks, and I couldn't find a bottom hose clamp for that bottom radiator line, so I just got twin zip ties on there, so pray for me that that doesn't come off. And also I couldn't get this bolt in there threaded, so I just shoved a piece of tissue paper in there. Hopefully that'll keep it from leaking just for now. But I just want to start it up real quick, make sure it warms up and make sure nothing's wrong with it before I try to take it anywhere. Should have probably hooked up the gas line too. Doesn't seem to be leaking anything, so I think I'm gonna go try to take it to get some gas real quick. The gas station's not even a half mile away, and I think it should be fine. So I just picked up some gas and I'm on my way back right now. And as far as like the solid motor mounts go, it is really not even that bad. Like, I can stand it just fine. It doesn't even bother me. It doesn't even vibrate that bad. Not as bad as I thought it would. And the seatbelt light is also really annoying. It's beeping at me because I don't have the fuse in for the automatic seatbelt. But other than that, it seems to be doing fine. It warmed up just fine. It's not getting hot. So I'm just trying to make it home right now. But everything seems good. And one thing I did forget about was I might need to add some more tranny fluid, because I was going to change that out because I lost some when I popped the axles out. But other than that, it's not too bad. Well, I just got back from the gas station. I mean, she seems to be running good. The heater kicked on nice. It didn't get too hot. Nothing seems to be leaking at all. And as far as I can tell, it's not doing too bad. But there's still a few things I need to do to it because it's still kind of ghetto rigged together. So I might go through it actually before I even try to take it over to PFI. And I mean, I might as well get all the wires like nice and where they should be. And I'm still thinking about relocating the battery to the back as well, because I might redo the intercooler piping to run it straight through here into the intake, and the battery gets in the way like that. And I know a few of you guys were worried about my solid motor mounts I made as well. Oh look, missing a bolt right there as well. No fucks. But a few of you guys left some comments saying how the motor's gonna like rip itself out of the chassis and all this shit, like it's gonna vibrate itself to pieces. And I don't think you guys realize that, like, I know for sure Innovative, they make a solid motor mount that's just a solid block of aluminum with a hole drilled through it. No polyurethane whatsoever. And they run those on all kinds of cars and they hold up just fine. And on Hayden's CRX, he actually had those same solid mounts, 100% solid metal, no rubber, polyurethane whatsoever. And he made way more power than I ever plan on making in Wago. And when he took the car apart, I mean, it held up like that for a couple years, and he took the car apart and there was no damage to the engine bay mounts whatsoever. Like, it was fine. He could slap it all back together and it would be just how it was. So I am not worried about the solid motor mounts at all. And when I drove it to the gas station, like I said, it wasn't even that bad at all. Like, it pretty much feels just like the hatch to me. So the dash does vibrate a little more now than it used to, obviously, because going from stock to a straight solid mount, but I wasn't even surprised. I'm completely used to it already. Honestly, I think the hatch is even worse than these solid mounts, and it has polyurethane mounts in there, but they're like super stiff polyurethane, but still the hatch vibrates pretty good as well. So I'm not even worried about these mounts on Wago, and you guys shouldn't be either, because that motor's not going anywhere. It's in there pretty good. So anyways, for today, what I think I'm gonna try to do, since I don't think it's quite ready to bring over to PFI just because it needs a couple more things, mainly needs the tranny fluid, because it is definitely low on tranny fluid, but there's also some bolts missing here and there. I need to fix up some of the ghetto vacuum line shit I got going on. My brake booster, if I took that on the dyno and it makes boost, it's gonna blow that brake booster right out of there because it's just resting in there, so I need to figure that out. Just a couple little things, because I mean, it runs and drives okay. And also the timing still could be off, like a tooth or something, because after I got that injector problem fixed, I was still playing with the timing. So I'm not sure if that's right. Once I bring it to PFI, we'll get it running good. Also, another thing that might kind of suck, I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure it's okay, but I haven't talked about it at all, but the turbo might have got hurt a little bit when I starved it of oil, because that's why I threw the bearing in the first place, is because it literally had like almost no oil in it because it burned it all out. And the turbo, right after I brought it home after that, was pretty stiff. The wheel on it didn't want to turn, but there was no shaft play, but it was pretty stiff. So I was a little worried about that. And then just now when I took it to the gas station and back, let it warm up, get some more oil through it, it definitely freed back up. Like, it's fine how it was, but there might be the tiniest amount of shaft play in there. Like, it's definitely fine for right now, but I'm not sure if it's gonna take a shit on me soon or not, because I didn't keep oil in there, or if it'll last. I mean, we'll see, but I'm just letting you guys know there is a possibility that this turbo might take a shit. But for right now, it should definitely be good to do a dyno pull. Like, it'll last a few hundred more miles for sure, but I'm not sure how much longer it's gonna last. So for right now, what I'm gonna do is get this side jacked up, drain whatever fluid might be in the tranny already, because I did also wash it off with my power washer, so there's a chance there could be some water in there. So I'm gonna drain everything out of the tranny that I can, refill it with fluid, and then just kind of go through the car, maybe fix up the wiring harness a little bit. It's running through some places where I don't want it to, it kind of sticks out. So kind of maybe hide some wires out of the way. Probably gonna leave the battery where it's at for right now, just because I don't feel like running it in the back until after I get it all tuned and everything. And then after that, it's mainly just a couple more things I need to plug in on the intake, and it should be good to go for tomorrow, hopefully. So I guess we'll see. Putting some tranny fluid in right now. This is actually just a regular motor oil, so that's what Honda recommends, and it seems to work just fine. But yeah, it was definitely super low, so it's a good thing I'm adding it now and I didn't drive it anymore, or else that could have done some damage to it. But I didn't drive it that far at all, so it should be fine. All right, so I just got tranny fluid put in it. We're gonna take it for a quick little drive around town, make sure everything's good. It still runs a little rough, but it's not too bad. Here you go. No seatbelts. Don't need them anyway.
All right, we're at the post office.
Didn't break down on us.
Seems like it's running fine. It's just a little rich, but
nothing a good tune can't fix.
True.
Well, we just got back, took it for a good 20-minute drive. Everything seems to be okay. It does idle really low, so we're gonna have to figure all that stuff out. But I do plan on taking it to PFI tomorrow, because Brent will know his shit, he'll know what's up with it, and he'll help us get it running good, and then maybe even possibly tomorrow we'll put it on the dyno. Just depends how far we get on it. But that's pretty much it for today. Didn't do too much, but it does run and drive around now, so still making progress. And the sooner I get this done, the sooner we can start on the Odyssey, because then I'll have another car I can drive around again.